Hey guys, welcome to Taylor Talks Comics. Today we're going to be talking about Sky Masters of the Space Force by Jack Kirby, Dick and Dave Wood, Wallace Wood, and Dick Ayers. Alright, thanks for joining me today. I ask that you like the video, subscribe to the video or my channel to get any updates on any future videos that I do. Comment down below and share this with your friends. So today we're going to be talking about Sky Masters of the Space Force. What the heck is this thing? This is a newspaper strip that Jack Kirby did with Wallace Wood doing the inks. That's what sold me on it. As you can look around at my background here, huge Jack Kirby fan. I am becoming a big Wallace Wood fan from his EC Comics strips that he would do. And this is such an amazing historical artifact. I feel like if you're a big comic book fan, especially a Kirby fan. This was put out by Hermes Press, as you can see down there. Do I pan over the whole cover there and the spine. And this includes all of the daily strips of Sky Masters of the Space Force. Now these were strips that Kirby and Wallace Wood did. I thought they had the years on here. Let me get the exact years. Alright, so it started in 1958 and ended in 61. So why this is amazing is that this took place, so Jack Kirby created the Challengers of the Unknown in the late 50s. Everybody knows that as like the precursor to Fantastic Four. And then he would do this strip, this daily strip, with Wallace Wood, Dick and Dave Wood, Dick Ayers, of, as you can see, a sci-fi astronaut tale. And then, months later, he would stop this strip. I think it would be springtime of 61. Yeah, the last story takes place until February 25th of 61. Fantastic Four, #1 comes out November 1 of 61. So months later. So late 50s, he's creating Challengers of the Unknown. And then, incongruently with that, while he's still doing Challengers of the Unknown, he's doing this strip, late 50s till early 60s. Months later, he'd go on to do Fantastic Four. That's why this is fascinating to me, because people always link Challengers of the Unknown with Fantastic Four, which is obviously very solid, makes sense, that kind of link. But I don't feel like this ever gets talked about, and this is kind of the bridge of the gap of that. And even this first cover, which this cover was done with the original artwork. Who's the guy that from Hermes? Dan Herman. Dan Herman, he did a great video of this on the Hermes Press. I don't know if it's Hermes. I think of the t-shirt company. Did a video on this book where he talks about the original art that he has, and he shows off some of the original art, because this book was produced with, I think he said 10% of it was original art and the rest of it was scanned in pages from the daily strips. But you can see that this front cover here, which was colored in hindsight, obviously matches the iconic panel of the Fantastic Four. Let's see if I can find it real quickly here. Right here. So here's the Fantastic Four. This is from the Fantastic Four Omnibus Volume 1. In the iconic panel, where we have the Storms and Rich and Ben. Rich? Did I say Rich? Reed Richards. Dang it. Of them flying to space. About to, get their superpowers. About to have the big accident. Well, that artwork obviously looks very close to what we see here. So it's pretty cool that you get that image right there. Done twice by Kirby. But this book is amazing. It's just, like I said, it's a historical artifact, but in that, the stories are great too. You get these great in-papers of Sky Masters. And this just includes the dailies. There is a separate book from a separate company that includes all the Sunday pages, which were in color. But these were the daily strips. And Dan Herman does the introduction here about why this is so important to him. They even include some of the earlier work by Kirby. Boy Commandos, Captain America, Challengers of the Unknown, like I talked about. And then some other strips that he did. Here's some more, again, Challengers of the Unknown right there. And then here's this, how the strips start. And here's the complete dailies. I think the only thing... Okay, I was going to say, the only thing, normally you see with these strips pages that, like, down here they'll have, like, indicia of, like, when the strip came out or was dated. But it looks like within the artwork, Kirby and Wood on every strip would include the date, which is very helpful because it puts context into it. It puts helps you know when these are, and you can match up the years. It just has the day and month, but you can match up the years with the table of contents here, which is great. And they were daily strips, and daily strips fascinate me because they okay. I have to pause here. This incredible Jack Kirby artwork of, like, the machinery and stuff was apparent in these days. The daily strips fascinate me because they you're given 4 panels or 3 panels in this case to tell one story that can be read within that one day and understood and give you something. But also you're given the task of having to tell a congruent story that someone wants to open up that paper and read every single day and follow every single day. So they read, like, one strip and they're like, oh, that's the cliffhanger I'm on. And then the next day they have to read the next strip, kind of thing. And it's awesome that to think of Kirby in a story. Now, this was written by Dick and Dave Wood. No relation to Wally Wood, by the way. But Dick and Dave Wood were doing the writing. But it's interesting to me to see Kirby in this aspect of doing daily strips because it's something you don't see from him. You see the output, the amazing, prolific output he had on a monthly basis with Marvel when he's doing 1 million comics for them every month. Or The Fourth World, which I did an overview of that Omnibus, when he's doing all of those stories every day, or every month. It's just interesting to see him on a daily strip basis. And that was Kirby's, largely his desire, was because back then, in the 50s and 60s, and even 40s when Kirby was working, because keep in mind, when Kirby gets to do the Marvel Universe in the early 60s and 61, November 61 when FF1 comes out, he'd already been in the comic book game for a couple decades of artwork. But his desire was always to do daily strips, because those were the daily strip comic books, daily strips for comics and Sundays and those kinds of things were what were respected. If you did, they weren't just known as the funny pages back then. If you did comics in the newspaper, you were thought of as a higher tier amongst just doing the funny books of, like, comic books. So think of it like you're at a cocktail party, someone asks you what you do for a living. Jack Kirby's like, oh, I'm a cartoonist. I do the Sky Master strips in the paper. Versus, oh, I'm a cartoonist. I write Fantastic Four. Those are 2 different responses you're going to get from somebody that's out of the game. They're going to be like, oh, you do newspaper strips. That's great. That's awesome. Oh, you write those kids' books. Fantastic Four. Yeah. My nephew reads those. So just like, that's an example of how comic strips were thought of to be higher tier than funny books, if you will. Also, back then, you had more creator rights, quote unquote, and creator credit. So on these strips, you would see the name Jack Kirby on this comic book strip. Prior to that, when he's doing the love and romance books in the 40s, and he's doing science fiction books. science fiction comic books, which you'll see like in books like this, which I'll do an overview of, you don't get your name in these books. You don't get like creator credit. I just showed an example of it. But you want it all the time. It wasn't until the whole Marv Wolfman nonsense with the Comics Code Authority that every writer, inker, penciler, colorist were getting their names credited in comic books. Here you would. People would know Charles Schultz did Peanuts. You know, people would know who wrote Beetle Bailey, who wrote Dick Tracy with Charles Gould. And they would know who wrote Sky Masters. So that's kind of what Jack, I mean, that looks like a self-portrait of Jack Kirby. But you can see Kirby's style here, very, very reminiscent. And you're going to see a lot of Kirby books on this channel because I love Jack Kirby so much. And you'll see early strips in here that Jack Kirby would do. He doesn't have the style nailed down of what his characters look like necessarily. Like, that doesn't look like a Jack Kirby face per se that you would recognize, but that's from the 40s. By the time he got to the 60s, when he was at the height of his game, killing it with the Marvel Universe, with Sky Masters, with Challenge of the Unknown early late 50s, you get that signature style. Like, that's, you can pick out a Jack Kirby face easily, and the machine work and that kind of thing. And the fact that Wallace Wood, one of the greatest artists in comic book history, is inking him on this is amazing to me. Two of the greatest comic book creators of all time working hand in hand on the artwork, doing a daily strip together. Kirby and Wood. And then later, in the later strips, you get Dick Ayers doing it. Doing the inking, I mean. Wallace Wood would eventually depart. But it's just so fun, so fascinating. These are fun science fiction adventure strips. Things that you don't see in the papers today. My entire life, the comic strip section, if it wasn't, what's his name? Rex something or other. 99% of the strips are just like funny strips, which are great. I love funny comic strips. Nothing wrong with that. But you don't have these fun adventure strips like this. So it's fun to, I like to explore these old strips like this. But yeah, so I had to have this when I found out it existed. Here's some more process stuff of how they reprinted some of the original scans of artwork, which are fun to look at. And then there's a big giant picture of it. So this is a great book. It's pretty large. Here's the size of a normal comic book. So it's the same height as a normal comic book issue, single issue. But obviously you can see it's much wider. Even wider this way than a comic book. Great collection to have. Now this thing is out of print everywhere I've looked. In stock trades doesn't have it. Amazon, I think people are only selling through third-party sellers. However, Hermes Press has it on their website, and they're constantly running discounted sales. So this book is cover priced at $50. I think I got it like 25% off from one of their sales. I implore you, if you have any interest in this book at all, to go on Hermes Press website and buy it right now. Find a sale they're having, sign up for their emails or whatever, and they'll send you discounts, that kind of thing. But buy it right away, because this book, I just have a feeling that when this book goes out of print completely, it's going to be going for like buku bucks on eBay. So if you have any sort of interest at all in Jack Kirby and Wally Wood and adventure strips like this, I implore you to go to their website and buy it. They're pretty safely packaged and pretty quickly sent out, so I didn't have to wait too long on it either. But yeah, Sky Masters of the Space Force, Jack Kirby, Wallace Wood, go buy this book. It's amazing. Any big Kirby fan should have this in their collection. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment down below if you have this book or if you have any interest in buying this book, and to let me know. So stay tuned for more videos. Hit that notification bell so you'll be notified. Thanks.